Okay, so what we're going to do now is create the IK and FK rig for the arm. So first go ahead and go to the outliner and make sure that over here you have collapsed this. Remember the figure, we still have this off, meaning that we're not interested in selecting the figure when we're working with the bounds. Now over here, go ahead and switch this to median point, and here we're just going to keep this on local. Go ahead and switch this to edit mode and make sure that the x-axis mirror is off. We'll turn it back on when we're ready to mirror the arm rig. Press the shift key down and middle mouse button and bring this into focus. Now over here, go to the data tab and just make sure that the deform bone layer is on. Now we're going to rig the fingers in the palm area at the very end. Here we're just interested in the arm, including this hand bone. So go ahead and select all of these bones over here, including this hand bone. I'm just going to do shift middle mouse button to pan over here. Go ahead and do shift D to duplicate, right click to cancel. Now press the control key down, click on this blue arrow, and simply move the bones up. Now because we are snapping to the grid, we know that we can simply put these bones back to their original starting location at any time. So go ahead and put these bones right about here. Now what we need to do, just like when we were building the leg rig, is to delete a few bones that we don't need. So go ahead and click on the head of this bone, do Shift S, and do cursor to select it. Go ahead and click on this one, do X and delete. Then go ahead and click on the head of this bone, do Shift S, and do selection to cursor. Go ahead and click on the tail of this bone, do Shift S, cursor to selected. Then go ahead and click on this bone, do X and delete. Click on the head of this bone, do Shift S, and select into cursor. Now of course we have to select this bone and go to the bone tab and make sure that the connected is enabled. You can of course press the G key to confirm this, right click to cancel. Now go ahead and click on each of these bones and make sure that the deform is off. So these are going to be our mechanical FK bones, which the deform bones are going to follow. So let's go ahead and name these. So here we're just going to call this m.arm.fk.l and enter. And on this one, we're going to call this m.forearm.fk.l and enter. And on this one, we'll just call this m.hand.fk.l and enter. Okay. Now what we want to do over here is actually click on this bone, and here later we're going to create that socket joint like we did for the legs. So here I'm just going to remove the shoulder as the parent on this bone. Okay. Now go ahead and press the shift key down and select all these bones. Go ahead and do shift D to duplicate, right click to cancel, press the control key down and move these up. So here these are going to be our touch bounds. So let's go ahead and click on these bounds and just make sure that the deform is off, which it should be by default because we duplicated non-deform bounds. So let's start with this hand. Now there are going to be two versions of the hand touch bone. One is going to be for the FK and the other one will appear on the IK. So for this one, we'll just call this hand dot touch dot fk.l and enter. And on this one, we're going to call this forearm dot touch dot fk.l and enter. And on this one, we're going to call this arm dot touch dot fk.l and enter. Okay, so that should be good to go. So let's just go ahead and duplicate these bones and create the IK versions out of them. So here I'm just going to do shift D to duplicate, right click to cancel, press the control key down, click on this blue arrow and just move these up. So go ahead and click these, and here we're just going to name this m.arm.ik.l and enter. And on this one, we're just going to call this m.forarm.ik.l and enter. Now on this one, this is going to be our IK touch bone, so I'm going to leave this be and just change the ending over here to say this is ik.touch. Okay, so this is going to be hand.touch.ik.l. So you'll see later how we're going to use this. It's really just the same idea that we just did on the leg. Now here what we want to do is go under File, Do Save As, and let's go ahead and save this as rigging lesson 04 h.blend. So now what we want to do is actually move these bones to their right layers. So let's first go ahead and press the Shift key down and select these bones. Press the M key, and for now we're just going to put these IK bones right here like we did with the legs, because we're right now in production mode. So go ahead and click on this, press the M key, and here we're just going to put these on the last layer, and go ahead and click on these, press the M key, and put them on the non-deformed layer. Now let's go ahead and go to the data tab over here, press the Shift key down, and we can just select all these bones over here for now. So the next thing that we want to do is actually place these FK bones to where they originally were. So here, let's go ahead and actually, before we do that, it might be a good idea to just switch to pose mode and go ahead and just do the copy transforms on the hand, so it just makes it easier to work with. So here we're going to actually click on this bone, press the Shift key down, and click on this dev.hand.l, and just do Shift Control C, and here we're going to do copy transforms. It just makes it easy before we put this into place. Okay, now you'll see that we're basically going to do the same thing with the legs, where we're going to be using damp track, copy rotation, copy transforms to make this arm move realistically. So let's go ahead and switch to edit mode and actually click on these bones over here, press the Control key down, and just move them back down like this, right? So they're in place. So now when we go ahead and switch to pose mode, now over here you can actually click this and just make sure that you select the right bone. It's going to be m.hand.fk.l, and if you press the R key, you'll see that the hand will start to move. Okay, so that's set up over there. So what we want to do here is, I guess what we'll do is first create that socket joint. What I'm talking about is this idea here that we did on the legs. So this is pretty easy to set up. Now to do this one, what we want to do is actually make sure that the touch bone layer is selected, and go ahead and press the Shift key down and make sure that the non-deformed layer is selected. Okay, so here are our bones that we've just moved into place. So what we want to do over here is actually switch to edit mode, and here we're going to go ahead and click on the head of this bone and just press the E key. Now here you want to press the Z key and just align it over here. Now I'll go ahead and park this. I just want to show you that you can either do it this way, or you could have done it on the X. It really doesn't matter. You have to choose which alignment you want. Okay, so here we're just going to keep it on the Z, because the idea is really just the same concept here, right? Here we did it on the Z. We'll just might as well do it on the Z. So let's go ahead and click this and press the Y key to sever all the connections. Go to the bone tab and just remove the deform over here. And this is going to be our shoulder socket bone. So let's go ahead and call this m.shoulder.socket.l and enter. Now we want to make sure that this bone is the child of this touch bone in this case. Okay, so here I'm just going to press the Shift key down, click on this touch bone, do Control P, and do keep offset. Okay, So now we need to create another bone which will be the parent of the arm bone. So go ahead and click on the head of this bone. Doesn't really matter what you select. Press the E key, and here I'm just going to press the Z key and just bring this bone out right about here. Again, you can click on the tail of these bones and make them bigger if you want. So here I'm just going to click on this, press the Y key to sever the connections, make sure that the deform is off, and this is going to be our arm socket bone, so we'll just call it M dot arm dot socket dot L and enter. Now here you want to click on the arm bone, press the shift key down, click on this bone, do Control P, and of course do keep offset. Okay, now here if you switch to pose mode and click on this touch bone, press the R key, you'll see that we basically dislodged the bone, right? Don't look at the arm, look at this bone over here. So here we're just going to use that same technique. So I'm just going to zoom in. So here we're going to click on the shoulder socket, press the shift key down, click on the arm socket, and here you already know now through this experience that you're going to do shift control C, and of course you copy location. Then we have to do shift control C, and of course we have to do copy scale. Then we have to do shift control C, and then finally do copy transforms, right? So if you click over here and go to the bone constraints, right, we know why we need the location and scale, right? So this can be scaled according to the root bone. And here is our copy transforms, meaning that we can turn this off or on, right? So when it's on, when you click on the shoulder, press the R key, you'll see that the bone moves with it. And if you click over here, turn this off, it'll go down, right? So the reason we did this is because if you click over here, press the R key, you'll see that it'll give us the ability to create natural arm movements. Okay, so of course on this bone we're going to have to add a driver, so we'll do that a little later when we involve the touch bone. So here I'm just going to keep this on a value of 1. Okay, so just press the A key to select everything and just do Alt R to reset the rotation. So that's all set up over here. Okay, now what I'm going to do here is just show you that over here, if we look at these leg bones, remember that we had created these tracker bones and we made them really the children of the shin bone. So we're going to do the same setup over here on the forearm bone. Just imagine that we're basically creating the leg. Okay, the ideas are the same. So here to do this, let's go ahead and switch to edit mode, click on the tail of this bone and just press the E key to extrude out a bone. Now don't make it too big because it can cause confusion with the deformed bones. So here I'm just going to put it right about here, click this, press the Y key to sever the connections, and over here go to the bone tab and make sure that the deform is off. And here we're going to call this, we'll just call it M dot arm dot tracker.L and enter. Okay, now here let's make sure that it's aligned. So go ahead and click on this bone, press the shift key down, click on this one, and just do Control Alt and A. So it'll be just aligned with this bone. And what we want to do is make this bone the child of this bone. So click on this bone, press the shift key down, click on this one. Here we're just going to do Control P and do keep offset, right? So this bone is the same idea that we did with this bone. So now we're going to create this type of bone, meaning the same idea on the forearm. So just press the 1 key. So to do this one, all we really have to do is click on the tail of this bone, of course press the E key and just extrude out a little bone over here. Click this over here, make sure you select on this bone, press the Y key to sever the connections, remove the deform, and here we're going to call this M dot forearm dot tracker dot L and enter. Now having this selected, press the shift key down, click on the hand bone, do Control Alt A to just align this bone, and of course click on this bone, make sure that there's no parent, press the shift key down and click on this bone, then do Control P and just do keep offset. Okay, so this bone's parent will be the forearm and this bone's parent will be the forearm, right? It's just like the shin bone. So over here, if we switch to pose mode and click on this bone and press the R key, right, wherever the parent goes, the children will follow. So that's all set up over here. So let's go ahead under File and just do save on this one. Okay. So now what I want you to do is go ahead and go to the Data tab, and here we're going to press the Shift key down and turn on the deform bounce. Okay. Now the idea here that I'm going to show you is exactly the same that we just did on the leg bounce. Okay. Well, they're going to be very similar basically. So we know that, okay, what exactly is it that we're trying to accomplish here, right? So remember, like on the leg, when we twist the leg, we wanted this area to rotate and this area, it did not rotate. So in the arm, it's going to be the same idea. We don't want the deltoid to rotate that much, and we don't want this to rotate that much. So to accomplish this, what we would have to do is first click on the tracker bone, press the Shift key down, click on this deform, this dev.arm.upper.l, and here we're just going to do Shift Control C, and here first we're going to do damped track. Okay, so now when you click on this bone, right, if you press the R key, you'll see that of course it's going to move because it's tracking this bone right over here. But notice this, when we press the R key and press the Y key 2 times to rotate the arm, right, the bone is not rotating. So what we want is really just rotate this a little bit. So now because we're doing damp track over here, we can concentrate on the rotation. So here, click on this bone, press the Shift key down, click on this one, do Shift Control C, and here you're going to do copy rotation, right? So if you click over here and go to the constraints, you'll see that what's happening. We know that damp track has to be below, right? Because you're going to get the rotation first, then force it to point to this bone. So let's go ahead and push this up. Now in this case, we actually don't want all the rotation. So here I'm just going to type in 0.350 and enter. Okay, so now notice this, when you click over here, press the R key, press the Y key, when we start to rotate this arm, you'll notice that the deltoid is not actually rotating by that much. So this is how it works realistically in real life, right? When you are rotating your forearm and arm, you'll notice that the deltoid here is not going to rotate that by that much. So this is how we are able to accomplish this. Okay, so that was pretty straightforward as to how we did that. Now let's talk about this bone over here. How do we want to rotate the bicep? That's actually pretty easy. All we really need is the transforms of this bone. So click on this bone, press the Shift key down, click on this one. Here we're just going to do Shift Control C and do copy transforms, right? Now in this case, I really don't want all the rotation from this bone. So here we can click and just type in 0.5, right? Half the rotation. So now when you click on this, press the R key, press the Y key 2 times, notice that how we've been able to create a realistic, right, movement of the arm in this direction, right? So the bicep is rotating more than the deltoid, and this is what allows us to do this movement. Anyways, here you can also see that of course we can press the R key and bring the arm down, right? So this again is all being done through this. Now it's a good idea to click these and just make sure visually that you did it right? So this should be the m.arm.fk.l, and over here is m.arm.fk.l, and this should be the tracker bone over here. Okay, so let's go under File and save, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Thank you.